Hi, and thank you for watching. On this show today, we will be talking about the psychological communications of kids shows and toys. Today, we will be focusing on the topic of Alice in Wonderland. What was Wonderland and where was she at? There's been much of controversies and many theories about Alice in Wonderland, but I feel like the overall message of where she went is definitely a confusing spot. I don't really feel like people know where she went. Um, so the whole purpose of Wonderland is a place that is pretty much essentially it's Alice's mind. It's Alice's imagination, her dream space is pretty much where she went. And we know this by the author wrote, the writer, he wrote that she was always daydreaming. So, it was just a daydream. She didn't actually go anyplace but other than her mind. And the reason why she needed to do this is because she was going through a lot. It shows that she was young, but she needed to grow up quick because she was suffering from so much loss. Like her father passed away, the home was being sold. She was forced into a marriage with a guy that she didn't love, and she just shut down. Where I believe that Alice actually was in her backyard, in her vineyard. She had a very big, lavish forest backyard, and that is true. Even in her daydream, down the rabbit hole where she was at, you see nothing but forest and trees and stuff. And that's essentially where she was, in her backyard of her house. As the dream goes on and as she begins to fantasize, because she's so stressed out that she's forced into a heavy meditation, a heavy concentration. You see this by, at first, you just see a white rabbit, which was a real white rabbit in real life that could have actually happened. You see real trees in real life. But as she goes down this rabbit hole, you see things like checkered boards and clocks and stopwatches. And even, again, the white rabbit has to do with like magic and stuff. And you see this thought of being kind of like in a trance or something, or like being hypnotized. So she just got in a safe place and comfortable. She probably like just sat down in the yard, and you just seen her transition from real life world into a daydream. And as she fell down this rabbit hole, things start to get weird. You see two giant talking eggs. You see animals that can talk. But you still see features of like real life, like them drinking tea. This is a UK based movie. So you see like the dress that they were wearing and the garments that they were wearing, and like even having biscuits, it's a very British thing that you see. The whole purpose of her being in Wonderland was her conscious was talking to her. All of the animals and all of the people that was in Alice's conscious was all of the characters. You see the white rabbit saying, you see the caterpillar, you see the Mad Hatter, you see all of them pretty much questioning, who is the real Alice? Who are you? I know who I am, but who are you? So they're pretty much tempting her to think, like, who are you? Like, in this deep, dark place in your life, you need to figure out who you are. It's her inner conscious calling to her to really heal and to really try to, grow from this. Now, Alice in real life is between the ages of 9 and 13. And definitely throughout the many movies and stuff, you definitely see how she gets older and older and older. So she's just pretty much learning, how to trust in herself, how to come across herself, like she's trying to figure out who she is. That's the whole pretty much purpose of this movie. As just a girl, you know, learning herself, learning how to say no. And when she gets back, her defining moment is when she gets back from her fantasy and comes back into the real world. You then see Alice start to say no. She starts to stand up for herself. She gets a job. She says no to the marriage. She saves her father's company. She goes into work and for his shipments and everything. You see that she takes care of her mother financially. You see that she's more confident in who she is, because that was the whole purpose of her going and stuck in this meditation, is to try to figure out her soul, to try to figure out what she's craving, and to try to ask many deep questions that she has about herself and just answer those things. So Alice in Wonderland is one of my favoriteest movies. If you have not seen it, it is a must. It doesn't matter, any one of them are so great. And I would always rate Alice in Wonderland a 10 out of 10. It is like the greatest thing that you would ever, the greatest movie storyline. And it is so beautiful. It is so, you know, enriched. It is emotionally fulfilling. It just checks all of the boxes. And I do feel like it is kid friendly. So yeah, that is my take on Alice in Wonderland. Thank you so much for watching.